Hi everyone, I hope you are doing very good. I will be starting our series on AI automation, everything you need to know about AI automation. And today will be our episode 1. So I called episode 1 AI Automation 101. All right, ready? Let's do it. I want you to imagine that it is 6:45 a.m. Obviously, irrespective of the country where you live at that time, the office is not yet opened. But think about it. What if at 6:45 a.m. your emails have already been flagged, the priority ones? It's been flagged telling you these ones are priority, pay attention to them. And then the ones that are routine emails have already been answered. So someone has helped you to answer those routine emails. Now, put it simply, a typical day for me, I get about 20 to 45 emails. That's for me. A typical day. Now, imagine having a system that can flag what is important so that I pay attention to what is important. Imagine having a system that can answer those routine ones. Imagine having a system that can send an invoice to all my clients. Or, because there is a CRM it is learning from and pushes out invoice to all my clients. Imagine having a system that can confirm meetings, look into my calendar, and check for conflicts. And where there are conflicts, it flags them. And if there are no conflicts, can confirm my availability for meetings. And also imagine having a system that can prepare reports even without me asking it to do it. So I set it up and it prepares this report before even the door of the office is open. That, my friends, are the typical kind of work AI automation makes possible. In today's AI 101, I will be leading you through, first, the basic understanding, which is the AI 101. I will talk you through what LLMs are. We will discuss what workflows are, AI agents are. We will highlight tools like N8N, Docker, and also begin your journey into building your first automation and deploying AI systems. All right, let's get right in. Who is this class for? Anyone, irrespective of if you have coding background or a no coding background, meaning you don't need a coding background or any technical experience for you to be able to become an AI automation engineer. If you can send an email, if you can use a spreadsheet, if you can manage office calendars, then you already understand everything it takes to set up a simple AI automation system or workflow. No coding is required. No technical jargons will be used all throughout this episode. Every concept is grounded on real business examples so that you can relate with them. There is this popular analogy that AI is here to replace people. But I'll tell you differently. AI will not necessarily replace people. It is here to remove repetitive work so that you and I can focus on what? Judgment, making good decisions, and also build relationships that grow businesses. Now the question is, what is AI automation? Let's use a case study of Nimad Chocolate. And let's imagine that you are the operations manager for Nimad Chocolate. It's 9 a.m. in the morning, let's say Monday morning. And already you have 120 emails. Story of my life. You've got 35 supply calls. You've got about 18 invoices you need to make. And there are reports you need to generate. All right. How are you going to? You are already overwhelmed. Should I answer the emails? Should I reach out to suppliers almost immediately? What exactly do I do? Should I push out the invoices so that we can start expecting the monies or something? You are overwhelmed already. Now, this individual, who in this case is a operations manager, is not short on effort. The person is working really hard. This person is short on hours. What that means, my friends, is that the person is always constrained by time. And that's exactly the gap that AI automation is built to close. How do we help those who are short on time? How do we build systems that can help those who are short on time? Before we go on any further, I want to remind you that this first video, it's an AI automation 101. Everything you need to know before you build your first automation. In the course of these episodes, we are going to be exposing you to do it yourselves so that by the time you finish this episode, you will be able to have created several AI agents and workflows for your day-to-day problem. First and foremost, let's continue understanding the rudiments around the subject matter before we go on to discuss at depth how to do so. What AI automation actually means? AI automation involves automating tasks. So are they tasks, particularly repetitive tasks? Why don't we automate them such that it can be done faster? I don't need to keep doing that same thing. Automating tasks and business processes using artificial intelligence. Now, automation has always been there. When we build softwares, we build automation engines. But AI automation specifically is automating tasks and business processes using artificial intelligence. I'm going to speak at depth about that in a few minutes. AI automation always requires or often requires little or no human intervention. Now let's talk about traditional automation, which is the automation that has always been there before now. Traditional automation typically uses that's traditional and AI automation, the two types of automation. Traditional typically uses what we call the if then else. So if this, then this, else this. This is what we call a logical path. Now, when the if fails, it takes the else. If the else fails, what it does is it throws an exception. For those of you who are programmers, you understand what I mean. What that means is, hey, it screams, I can't handle this, I can't handle this, I can't handle this. Problem. I'm sure you've come across those exceptions while you are browsing or you're using a specific software tool. It's because those automations were what? They use fixed logic. And when there is something it does not understand, it quickly just throws an exception. Now, a good example of traditional automation is, I want you to imagine a mailman or a mailboy. A mailboy is given an address. Let's say number 7, Nimaj Crescent. Nimaj Crescent. Let's give it a postcode number. The mailboy goes exactly to this address, number 7, Nimaj Crescent. And when he or she gets to that address, he or she notices that the recipient of the mail is not around. The doors are shut. What the mailman does, simply in traditional system, return the mail back to the mailroom. That's the natural consequence. Return the mail back to the mailroom and scream, recipient was not around, because it could not handle an exception. On the flip side, the new kind of automation which this class will be discussing, which is called the AI automation, doesn't work with a fixed logic. Now, what it does differently is that it's like a mailman who goes to Nimaj Crescent. When he or she gets here, the mailboy gets here and notices that the recipient is not around. The mailman or mailboy begins to think, how else can I reach the recipient? He or she could go to the neighbor's house, stops at the neighbor's house. I'm supposed to drop a mail at this apartment, but this individual is not around. Would you mind if I drop it at your place? Or can you refer me to someone who is close to this recipient? I could drop it at his or her place and perhaps contact the recipient to notify them. When the mailman does that, this individual could go to house 10. House 10 is a very close friend to house 7. Drop the mail there and notify house 7. You see, because of that, it's intelligence. It understands that we don't cry. We don't scream. So what do? Because we can't cry and we can't scream, we think, what is the alternative ways of solving this problem? We have to find a way to solve that problem. And by thinking, so it uses an intelligence to think of alternative ways to solve problem. The other one follows a fixed logic, cannot handle exceptions. The other one is predictable, means you just know exactly what the mailboy would do. If he comes to my house, doesn't see me, he'll be back to the mailroom. So it's predictable every time. The other one is fast and inexpensive to build. The fixed logic is fast. It's very clear. The path is defined and very inexperienced to build. On the other side, AI automations are not inexpensive to build. It thinks, it has intelligence, so it takes real actions across systems. It reads context, not just keywords, context. Why is this person not around? Maybe this is not the person's work hours. It weighs opinions. You see, it went to the other house, tries to find out a bit about this person before it makes a judgment call. So it's not a fixed logic. It improves as it sees more cases. Now, over time, the mailboy, who is an AI, would soon begin to see patterns. By asking questions from neighbors, you start seeing patterns. Maybe number 7 is always at home between the hours of 12 midnight and 4. You see, patterns will begin to emerge. Intelligence is building. I hope you can duly separate fixed logic from the AI intelligence. All right. Now, here is a chart that tries to explain all of that. Fixed logic, fixed rules, reasoning and judgment. Rule-based and rigid follows one path. Adaptive, context-aware, context. Breaks or gets skipped. Now, when it doesn't get what it wants, it breaks, it stops. Like when it went to the house, did not see the recipient, it breaks. It goes back and stops, or it takes the thing away. But when it does not get what it wants, it assesses the options and seeks to find a resolution. Decision making, it makes no decision, it follows the logic, weighs option and acts appropriately. This is very good for high volume and repetitive tasks. Very good when you are building those machine systems, but it can't make good judgment. It just follows one path, weighs options and makes variable tasks. So let's jump in. When you are building an AI automation, what are the building blocks? The word building blocks is the pieces behind a typical automation. There are 5 pieces that I'm going to highlight today. The first one are triggers. Triggers is what starts a process. Send me an email every Monday. Send an email to all my staff members every Monday. That's a trigger. Every Monday morning by 9 a.m., send emails to all my staff members. Now, what emails would I send? Input. What information should I send to them? Now, I know your trigger, but what do I send to them? What if I send to them and they reply? What should I do? Decision making. What should I do? What are the decisions I should be thinking around? Once I have decided what should I act on, the task getting carried out. At the end of your actions, there will always be an output, a completed result. These are the 5 building blocks, or you call it assembly line items, in every automation. Let's look at it in a real world example. A customer email asking for a refund on a damaged item, that's a trigger. Input. AI reads the email, picks out what? The order number, because that's the reference by which we can tell what the price or what the refund will be. Also, the AI picks out the picture to validate if there was really a damage or not. Decision. What decision should the AI make? AI has to refer to what? The policy of the organization. Yeah? Send the picture to the policy or review based on policy and then understand exactly what decisions should be done. What actions should it take? Now that you found out that perhaps this person is due to be paid some form of compensation, you can initiate for a refund. The AI can as well draft a reply and tell the client, we've reviewed this and we know that by all measures, this is not caused by us, it's from your own end, and so we are not going to refund this. And then the last one there is the output. Customer is refunded within minutes, ticket is closed. In that case, when you've paid up the customer, that's you've refunded, you can now go on to close the ticket. So this is the 5 building blocks of a typical automation: triggers, input, decision, action, and output. I bet you've heard the word workflows. AI workflows, or you've heard the word AI agent. Allow me to put some light to that conversation. A workflow is the order in which work happens, the order. A flow, you purchase submitted item, manager approves the purchase. A purchase order is sent to the what? Vendor. An invoice is received from the vendor to you. You make payment, and perhaps after that, the payment, the goods and services is released to you. That's the workflow for buying things, a procurement workflow. A workflow follows this exact sequence every single time. Every single time you are going to have to do procurement, that's the way it's going to go. It doesn't ask whether a cheaper vendor exists or whether the request even makes sense or not. It simply executes the steps in order. A typical workflow does not think, it just gets the job done. It follows a flow of command. What is an AI agent? AI agents is a component, or can be defined or can be designed as a component, a small component within the workflow that performs a specific task or makes decisions. Now, let's put it this way. Here is a workflow. We can have an agent. So let's call this agent 1. We can have another agent here, agent 2. We can have an agent here, agent 3, another agent here, agent 4, and another agent here, agent 5. Each of these agents are designed to do particular task. So this agent here is trained to submit purchases. So I can either speak to the agent, natural language, or say, help us purchase a new table. The agent will go on and fill the form and submit it on my behalf. You see, I only spoke to the agent. The agent heard me, filled the form, and submitted it. Another agent can go on to get manager's approval, and so on and so forth. So agents are actually components, and they are found within workflows. And they help us to perform specific tasks. Agents are goal-oriented. They are goal-oriented. So they are goal-driven. They don't follow any steps. They are goal-driven. They use tools. An agent will use a tool to get what you want it to do for you. Now, one thing about agents is that agents are intelligent. So they could weigh multiple options before they effect whatever they want to effect. And agents are adaptive, which is they adapt when conditions changes. So agents are intelligent. Unlike workflows are a series of steps followed to get work done. But agents are small components designed for specific roles or goals, and they are very adaptive. It means they can change when conditions change. Let's look at putting them side by side so that we can really understand what the differences are. A workflow, a fixed sequence of steps. Agents are not fixed, they are flexible. However, they are goal-oriented. Their mind is on the goal, but how they will go about doing that is very different. Decision of a workflow is clear from the beginning. You can tell what it will do. The decisions of an agent, it's not very clear. The agent has to evaluate options and then choose from the best option at that time. Workflows cannot handle surprises. It's a straitjacket. Agents are built to adapt in moments. Workflows are limited to the kind of tools they use, are limited to whatever they were asked to use. So the tools they use are limited to the script that put them to play. Or you can say the tool they use are predefined. Whereas agents select and uses tools as available or as needed. They look for the best tool to get the job done. Agents are very dynamic, and they could be used for dynamic judgment-heavy tasks. Whereas workflows are stable, and they are very useful for repetitive tasks. All right? So, you've stayed with us so far. I believe you would like to join us in this episode from today through the coming months. We'll be taking you through the coming months and helping you learn how to build agents. So do subscribe to our channel and like and share with others if you are getting value from these sessions so far. Now let's go on with our sessions. The brain, you notice something about agents. Agents are adaptive, they are intelligent, they evaluate options. What is the intelligence that backs them? The intelligence by which they know what to do, which way to go. That reasoning, that ability to reason. Workflows or traditional automations follow logic. Agents or AI automation typically follows what? Intelligence. So what is that intelligence that defines their ability to think, to adapt, and to make decisions? That intelligence, my friend, they draw it from what we call the LLM, large language model. Example of large language models, what you use already, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek, and the Lima. These are generative AI platforms that allows you, they understand natural language. So you can speak to them, they understand, they can read, and they can even write natural languages. So they are like the brain behind AI automation. They are the brain behind AI agents, and so on and so forth. I'm showing your experience. Go on the comment and write typical kind of things that you use AI for. To design CVs, you may have used it to summarize lengthy contracts, to write proposals. Go on the comment section and write typical things that you've used AI to do, or generative AI to do. Interestingly, we are even beginning to use AI these days to create reels. Yes, reels. I made a reel on my Instagram, which I used generative AI to create. All right. The next tool that AI agents uses is called connectors. Now, one of the advantages that LLMs can do, it can respond to anything, but it cannot access some level of security. For example, it can't check your mailbox on its own. It can't access your LinkedIn profile on its own. It can't go into anything that has some form of security, to log on security on its own. It can't. Now, for you to be able to access those things, or to connect your LinkedIn, for example, or your email, for example, to the LLM, you need a connector, something that will open up the LinkedIn profile so that the LLM can have access to it. All right? That connector. Typical no-code tools. Again, don't forget we're here for no-code tools. Typical no-code tools that are in the market include Zapier, Make.com, Power Automate, and even Pipedream. But for the sake of this class, we're going to be focused on just one of them, N8N. That's going to be our connector tool of choice. All right? So we're going to use it to see how we can connect CRMs with LLMs. We can connect LLMs to worksheets. You can as well even connect it to Slack, even to calendar. You can connect these even to your emails, but using a connector tool. All right? In the course of this class, by the very next class, I'm going to show you that there are two types of N8N. There are when N8N runs locally, so you install it straight to your laptop. And also you can install N8N. You can refuse to install it locally. You might choose to run it on the web. Now, the cool thing is, if you use N8N on the web, you're going to have 14 days free subscription, 14 days. For those of you who want to run it on the cloud, you're going to have 14 days free subscription. And thereafter, you would start subscribing to it monthly, yearly, as the case may be. All right? Now, subscription means you pay. So after 14 days, it is no longer free. You start paying subscriptions. However, if you install N8N locally on your computers, it is completely free to run. So in the course of this class, we're going to show you how to install it free so that you can have full control of your data, because on the web, you lose that full control. But when you install it on your laptop or your desktop, you have full control of your data, and it's literally free. And we're big on making it easy for you to learn. All right? The next tool that we're going to use in the course of our training is the Docker tool. Now, I want you to pause and go into your kitchen. Pause and go into your kitchens right now. Go into your spices, where you keep your spices, and reimagine. If you had no containers for your peppers, your salts, your spices, and all the likes, how would your kitchen be? So when you get into your kitchen, you would notice there is a lid or a container here for peppers. You've got another one here for salt. You've got another one here for other things, other forms of spices, and so on and so forth. Now, if you were to leave your house today, to move from this house to the very next house, you see the ease. You will just pick it in those containers and take them right here. The purpose of Docker, it's called a container, or it's used for containerization of softwares. It's used for containerization of softwares. So the purpose of Docker is for us to easily be able to containerize our software. Laugh with me if there's any word like that. So put everything in their own container and be able to move it about without having it scattered all over the place. So that's why we're going to use Docker. In our next class, I will show you the details of how to install and how this works in reality. Now, containerization allows for consistency and reliability everywhere. So if you pick it from here to the very next place, it will still be exactly the way it was when you set it up. So containerization of softwares. There will be a container for n8n, a container for your database, a container for the AI model, and every other tool that you use. What have we covered today? We've looked at the basics of AI automation. We've defined what traditional and AI automation is. We've explained what workflows are, series of steps that leads to a goal. And we've said that these are predetermined steps. We've discussed what agents are. Agents are largely what? Goal specific. However, they are very adaptive, so they don't follow any particular logic. We've also introduced words like LLMs, n8n, and Docker. All right. In our next video, we will show you how to install Docker, install n8n, and how to build your first AI automation. Join us for the very next session. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bring your friends along to class. Thank you.